Alright, hello everyone. I'm coming to you live from Chester, California. And as you can see, it's been a little rainy today. Taking a 0-day to wait on some mail tomorrow. We're staying at the Antlers Motel. It's really nice. But I'm making a video to catch up on the videos that I have missed. And this is going to be on Section J. Section J is from Kennedy Meadows Resort. And we're talking about North Kennedy Meadows. We're not talking about the Kennedy Meadows when you go through the Sierras, and it's starting from the Kennedy Meadows Resort, and it's going to Echo Lake, which is where you go down to South Lake Tahoe. So I just glanced at my notes here. It's 75 miles, and we're going to start on day 67. Day 66 was a 0 at Kennedy Meadows Resort. Kennedy Meadows Resort is a rustic resort with cabins and a pack station. They really make a lot of their money off taking people on like horse tours and things like that. You go down there, it's kind of like old Wild West style. All the people in the horses are walking around with spurs and cowboy hats. It's a really nice pine building. They have a place for hikers to stay, and overall it's pretty nice. And the day I was gonna leave, the day I left there, was day 67. I started a little late, ate breakfast at Kennedy Meadows Resort. They have a pretty good breakfast, and the guys that I was going to hike with is actually some guys that I met and hadn't hiked with before, and they wanted to eat breakfast first, and so that's what we did. And then we got a ride back to the trail, and Kennedy Meadows Resort is about 7,000 feet. So to go back up to the trail, you have to take a road. It's quite a gain in elevation, so we ended up having to pay about $10 per person to get a ride back up there. But that's what it was, so we paid it and got back up there. And the first part of the day coming out of Kennedy Meadows Resort was pretty snow-free. And after we hiked a little bit, but then at the end of the day, it just got right back into the snow. Ended up meeting with the guys that I was hiking with, and we camped at like 10:34. And then for day 68, it was the first day in weeks after coming out of the Sierras that there was more trail than snow. And we were going to a place called Eagle Creek, and this is the section of the trail where you get to the saddle over Noble Lake. And this was a really nice view. We're getting to see the snows thinning out. Going back on the north side of the saddle, of course, there's a little bit of snow going down. And this night was a little bit strange from what we had normally been expected, because the weather was warming up a little bit, but then it just hard froze that night. And that's what I mean by that is, like, I had my shoes laying out the next morning. They were like solid rocks, trying to put them back on. So that was a little interesting, but that's what you get. We were still at high elevation at that. We were still at a little bit of high elevation at that point, so I had to expect some stuff like that. And day 69, after we got up at Eagle Creek, we went to camp at about 10:78, and this was the day that we went over Carson Pass. And Carson Pass was a little bit snowy. I had to use my micro spikes for a little bit of it. I got my ice axe out for a little bit, but I did it kind of late in the day, and I got about 20 miles, and it put me, pretty close to South Lake Tahoe. Set me up for going in there at about lunch. And then day 70, I went from where I camped at 1078 to Echo Lake. And Echo Lake is the place on the PCT where you can actually go to South Lake Tahoe. So when I got there, I got a little snack at the store. Everything's super expensive there. It's basically kind of like a tourist trap. And once I got there, I was able to call one of the trail angels in South Lake Tahoe. If you ever hike the PCT, they have a giant list of trail angels of people that'll drive you around and things like that. And I was able to get down to South Lake Tahoe and ride the bus to the hostel. And as we talked about in my other videos, South Lake Tahoe is an epic trail town. Don't want to miss it. And that's pretty much the end of the section. It was a great section, starting to transition to less snow. And we were moving north to Canada. And that's where we're at for this section. And give you a little view. Like I said, I'm at the Antlers Motel in Chester, California. It's past halfway, and if you come down here, I really recommend checking the Antlers Hotel out. It's pretty nice. It's nicer than they have a free church. You can stay at Lutheran Church, but I don't have a tent, and the tarp I have now is really big, so setting it up on the ground would just be a mess. So tonight, decided to stay at the Antlers Hotel. Also go to the Pine Shack Frosty. They have a 32-ounce milkshake that is just amazing after you hike down the hill. It's when you're going northbound down to Chester, it's all downhill. It's a really easy hike. And that's all I have for now. We'll talk to you guys next time.